core crushed with less than 10 hours of play on it. So I'll play the clip so you can hear it.
A big unknown. I actually cut one open and yeah, there's visible core crushing.
You can say a lot of things, you know, but actions speak louder than words.
Hey y'all, Rafa the Pickleball Tech Dude here. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn everything you need to know about the Holbrook Fuze. This is Holbrook's Gen 4 answer to the durability blunder they experienced with the Arma in 2025, and you're going to want to stay to the end of the video to see whether or not it worked out for them. The Fuze launches today, and you can get it for a little over $200 using code RAFA at checkout or clicking the link in the description. Per usual, Holbrook did not incentivize me or require me to do this review, and they won't know this video exists until you guys do. Using my code or link helps out the channel a great deal, but so does just liking the video, being subscribed, and sharing this with all your friends. The first step in evaluating the Fuze comes with looking at the construction and the aesthetics. Holbrook has one of the cleaner branding aesthetics in the paddle world, and they bring the Fuze with a black and white sleek design with almost techie sharp corners and a mix and match of font sizes to look almost like coding language. The Fuze lineup spans 4 different paddles in 3 different shapes with 2 different core thicknesses. You've got the elongated paddle shape, which is the only shape that comes in a 14 and 16 millimeter core size. It is also the only shape to be dual certified USA Pickleball and UPAA, and that goes for both thicknesses. You also have an arrow curve hybrid shape paddle and a wide body paddle, notably both of which still maintain the 5.5 inch handles you'll also find on the elongated paddles. The primary differences other than just shape are that the hybrid and wide body are both only USA Pickleball certified, and they both only come in 16 millimeter thickness. The face of the Fuze features a raw carbon fiber with a very fine peel ply, making it feel a bit more smooth than other paddles. And within the Fuze, we have Holbrook's version of a unibody Gen 4 floating core paddle, which in simple concept is a foam construction of the Arma. We have a very thick ring of soft EVA foam around the entire paddle, and in the middle is a full EPP foam version of Holbrook's dual density core concept. A low density EPP foam in the bottom portion of the paddle meets a higher density EPP foam in the upper portion north of the inverse parabola looking cutout. There are also L-shaped cutouts in the top corners of the high density foam in order to avoid head heaviness. Some of you will remember the horrible X-ray images that surfaced at the meeting point of the high and low density polypropylene core concept in the Arma. Not only does using foam avoid the awkward cutout situation, but when I got directly hands-on with some of the Fuze cores, I was unable to separate the high and low density foams without using pretty extreme force, indicating Holbrook may be using a strong and durable adhesive this time. Now we move on to the specs and performance, which created a very polarizing personal experience to say the least. What's unmistakable from the baseline is the amount of power the Fuze has. You'll find the Fuze to have high power across the entire lineup. In the hybrid and wide body, this is most likely facilitated by the long handle, which pushes the balance point a bit higher. You'll find the Fuze to have a soft, dense, and very muted ball feel experience, creating a sensation of ball pocketing. If you prefer the hollow, crisp, responsive experience of, say, a Selkirk boomstick, this is the exact opposite of that. Now, when we get to the midcourt is where 2 really interesting things happen. The first is that you realize just how large the sweet spot is across the whole lineup. Of course, the wide body feels the largest and the most stable, followed closely by the hybrid, but even the elongated paddles, when you look at a 5.9 twist weight, for example, on the 14 mil, you don't expect a large sweet spot, but you definitely get one. And the second thing is what happens after this paddle breaks in. In the beginning, you'll find the Fuze to have a very consistent feeling hitting surface. You'll find that it's part of the muted nature of the paddle's ball feel, and feedback that I received even from more advanced players was that exit velocity off the paddle, especially on resets, felt difficult to perceive. But what you'll notice slowly but surely, especially on the wide body and hybrid paddles, is that they begin to soften up even more after about 2 weeks. It's a similar phenomenon that I found on the Mark II R3, where it allows you to feel the ball better the softer the paddle gets. The ball will begin to feel like it's pocketing more in the direct center of the sweet spot, giving you a comparison point to how far it feels like it dwells in other parts of the paddle. But the real kicker here is that sensation really only applied to the hybrid and wide body. Over and over again, I found myself having difficulty, especially with control in the midcourt over the elongated paddles throughout my entire playtesting period. And this may make a noticeable difference at the kitchen line as well, because while the hybrid and wide body obviously have lower swing weights, lower balance points, and are easier to maneuver, the softening sensation also correlates with a slight decrease in pop, making it a bit easier to control your touch on the soft shots at the kitchen. Meanwhile, the elongated paddles will continue to feel the same as they do in other parts of the court. It's not an unpleasant sensation by any means, it's just one that may make it difficult for the average amateur to judge their exit velocity even at the kitchen line, which can lead to pop-ups. So here's the final verdict on the Holbrook Fuze. Did they accomplish greater durability? Well, from personal experience, every unit behind me has been extensively tested by myself and by others with zero QC issues. No edge guard slipping, no core degradation of any kind, etc. But when it comes to whether or not this paddle is worth it, it depends on a couple of factors. If you are at or approaching a very high level of pickleball and what you care about above all else is dual certification, a large sweet spot, and a big amount of power, the Fuze is very close to the top of your list. More advanced players who prefer the consistency and ball feel across the whole face, but don't like the hollow nature of, say, a Luz Inferno or Tornado or Selkirk Boomstick are really going to gravitate towards the elongated Fuze paddles. But when it comes to the majority of you who may not have a necessity for a dual approved paddle, the decision gets a lot more difficult. After all, there's no durable grit technology on the Fuze, which I can see becoming an expectation on expensive paddles as the year progresses. And there's about 17 million Gen 4 floating core paddles on the market right now. In the end, it will just boil down to a couple of things. The perceived durability, which in a world of full foam paddles is greatly expected, but still not 100% guaranteed. And going back to my earlier points, the perceived almost increase in control over the break-in period. If you're tired of waiting for your paddle to break in, and then when it finally does, having it play with an unrecognizable level of power that completely changes your game, the Fuze is one of the few paddles on the market that breaks that narrative. The Holbrook Fuze is a 1-year limited warranty for manufacturing defects, and also has a 30-day return window, which doesn't specify whether or not the paddle needs to be brand new, so they may be reducing some risk there for you to try the paddle. A couple of other paddles you may want to have on your radar purely because they offer similar playing characteristics, but a slightly better value proposition would be the likes of the Mark II R2, Gherkin Draco, Chorus Coda, or Flick F3. But with all of that said, that fully wraps up my thoughts on the Holbrook Fuze. If nothing else, a huge leap forward in terms of the quality that Holbrook Pickleball is bringing to the market. If you made it here to the end, thank you so much for watching and for your support per usual. Make sure you're liking the video, subscribing, commenting down below if you have any experience with the Fuze paddle or if you have any more questions. Again, link to the Fuze is in the description and right here at the end of the video. And please stay happy, stay healthy, stay out on the court, and please treat all people with love, kindness, and respect. Because the only thing more powerful than hate is love. Peace.